Hey guys, it is Mike from Baltimore Rides here. I just wanted to do a little Saturday check-in. It is 7:30 p.m. and I have not taken a single ride in Maryland. Well, I did take one, I apologize. But it pulled me all the way down to Arundel Mills Mall, and then I bounced around basically heading southward with every additional ride. And I was using Lyft and Uber kind of concurrently, but I've only had one Lyft passenger and I've had several Uber passengers. So just the volume is there with Uber. But I'm in DC. So I've been bouncing around DC now for about the past hour, and I am making my way north because DC passengers don't tip. That's my first frustration. And on top of that, I don't know my way around as well. So, you know, I'm just going to migrate north to my, safer waters and an area that I feel more confident in, because then I can be more charming and I can talk and I can, have a conversation while I'm driving because I know where I'm going. When you're literally driving white knuckle by the map because you don't know where to turn, you don't know the streets, it makes it very hard for you to put on the social charms and, really chat things up. So I'm not objected to DC, and I feel like every time I go down there I get a little bit more comfortable, but it's going to really take some time. I did not see a significant difference in fares or surge pricing or any of that stuff while I was down there. Honestly, my best fares for the night have been the fares in between DC and Baltimore. I had a Hyattsville, I had Arundel Mills, and I had one other one. And I just, as I was kind of like clipping my way down a bite-sized piece at a time, they were pretty good-sized fares. They were $10, $12 fares for, 15 minutes in the car. It's not bad. But, I need to practice in DC, so I probably need to come down here one day and just commit a whole day to driving in DC. But that might be something I do maybe in August when things are a little bit calmer. So we will see, but I am right now getting back on the highway. I'm heading up to 495 to 95. I'm going to just do a flyby and see what the airport is like. I have not looked at Gridwise in a little while, but I think that there's a 8:30, 9 o'clock wave coming in of passengers, and I'll probably get there at right about that time. So it might work out really well. If it looks like it's going to be a long wait, I'm just going to bug out and go to the city, because Saturday night is a city night, and I know I can do well in the city. So not going to hang around and commit to more than 30 minutes at BWI, because I feel like 30 minutes plus the 15 more to get back to the city is just too big of an investment of time. So that's where I am now, guys. I have about, I think it's like $70 in. It's not a bad number for 7:30 at night. It's something like $70 in. It's like 12 on Lyft and 60 something on Uber. So whatever, 70. Let's call it 70 bucks even. It's probably a little bit more. No cash tips tonight so far, and
use any lane to turn left onto Georgia Avenue.
I haven't really looked to see if there were any electronic tips. So I will keep you guys posted. I will let you know what happens, and we'll go from there. Later, guys. Bye. Hey guys, it is Mike from Baltimore Rides here. It is Sunday morning, about 3:20 in the a.m. Wrapping up Saturday night's shift. Pretty good results all in all. I did not have a good one trip at the airport. So I'm very frustrated with the airport. But overall, the night was really good. And here's kind of how it went down. So I bounced around town, and then I tried my one airport route, and then I bounced back, but I never could really get into the heart of the city. I could never get to the harbor. I was up in North Baltimore, I was in West Baltimore, I was everywhere but the downtown. So at some point I kind of said, screw it. I went offline for a few minutes to get myself down to downtown to Fells Point. And the very first ride I got out of Fells Point took me all the way back out to Bel Air Road. So I just said screw it, and I just left my apps on and I bounced around. Little bit of a pain in the ass, I'm not gonna lie, this whole Lyft Uber at the same time. I think what I'll do, because I've only got, I think, 3 rides tonight from Lyft. And there's nothing wrong with Lyft. I mean, it's fine. It's just that Uber is pretty steady in the city on a weekend. It's not slow enough that I really felt the need to ever turn Lyft back on. Because what was happening was I would get done with the ride, I would drop my customer off, and then within, 60 seconds to a minute, I'm getting an ad. I'm getting another customer popping back up with Uber. So I would go through this whole, routine of drop my customer off, rate them, complete the trip, go to the Lyft app, turn it on, go back to the Uber app, bing, 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 Uber ride, go back to the Lyft app, turn it off. So it just became a real drag having to go back and forth and back and forth. I like the idea of having it so that if I'm stuck on a weekday and it's slow, I can turn both of them on and at least increase my chances of getting somebody. Or if I'm down at the airport, I can turn both of them on and whichever one comes up first wins. But I don't think I need to play both of them on a busy night like a Friday or a Saturday night, because I felt like, honestly, I screwed things up a little bit. I was just getting frustrated because no sooner did I complete one than I left another one. And I really don't want a Lyft ride if I can get an Uber ride, because I pay a slightly higher fee to Lyft than I do to Uber. So I'm not making as much money. And my Lyft customers are all young, and so none of them tip me. So, there you go. That's how I feel. Lyft is going to be my backup. It's going to be my, what do I do on a slow day? How do I increase my likelihood of getting a customer? Or if I'm sucked down to the DC area, I'll turn Lyft on, because I do really well down there with Lyft the past couple times I've been down that way, today especially. So that's that. Finished the night, excuse me. Ugh. For Lyft, I think I did $30 in 3 trips. That's actual money to me. For Uber, my final number is somewhere around 160, 170. Took about $15 in cash tips tonight. So, it's a round number is just at $200, which, guys, I'm happy with that. My expectations. 200 on a weekend night, gets me where I need to be. So I am totally okay with that. Last weekend was a big weekend, and it was definitely busier in the city, but the storms probably hurted things a little bit tonight. As much as it cooled the city off, those monsoon storms that we got right when the game was kind of midway probably hurt things a little bit. So we'll see what tomorrow brings. I'm gonna do this the way I've been doing it. I'm gonna go into the city. I'm gonna head to Harbor East. I'm gonna turn on my app and kind of see where it takes me. And if it takes me down to the airport, great. If it doesn't, that's great too, because I know what works for me, and I think this airport thing is frustrating. It's frustrating for me. I don't like the fact that if you wait for 40 minutes for a $10, $15 ride, you've kind of blown your chances. So, and I'm not going to play dirty like some of the other drivers out there and call the customer and ask them where they're going, and then if they don't like where they're going, cancel on them. Because I think that's shady. I think that's taxi cab business, and I'm not trying to be a taxi cab. So that's where we stand, guys. My morals mean more to me than making a couple extra bucks. I'm going to be consistent, and I'm going to stick to my guns, and I'm not going to play dirty, because I just don't think that's right. So if you're out there and that's what you're doing, that's on you. It's kind of like tonight. I had a situation where I pulled up. There's 7 teenagers standing on the side of the road. They all open the door and try and clown car into my car. And I said, look, dudes, 4. 1 in the front, 3 in the back, because that's where I got seatbelts for. I'm not doing any more than that. Oh, come on, we can all squeeze in here. I said, sorry, no. I said, you guys are trying to cheap out and not pay an XL price and jam yourselves into my car, and you're gonna scratch up the leather or the seats and probably not do my suspension any good. And you know what? If I get pulled over because you guys are all not wearing seatbelts, you know, it's my ass that gets a ticket, not yours. And I was polite. I wasn't rude. But I said, I'm sorry, guys. I just can't do it. I can take 4 of you, and then the other 3 can request an Uber on their own, and probably one will be here in a few minutes. Or I can come back and get you on a second trip, but I'm not doing the clown car routine. And of course, they got lippy and rude and obnoxious, and one of them slammed one of my doors. And you know what I did? I canceled with too many rider, and I said, and then I put a complaint in because, you know, that's not the kind of customers that we need. I'll be honest with you, that's not the kind of customers that we need. And you're right, you know, there's probably other Uber drivers out there that are like, oh yeah, sure, just climb in, everybody lap up and squeeze in. And I don't know, it just didn't. Something in my gut instincts told me this was not the ride I wanted to accept. This would have been a problem, and I'm glad I did it. So sometimes you got to stick to your guns, guys. Every fare is not worth the end of the world. And, you know, if you get in trouble, you get pulled over, you get a ticket, you know, they're not going to pay your ticket. Uber's not going to pay your ticket, and the customer damn well isn't going to pay your ticket. So, you know, this is your business, this is your vehicle, it's your livelihood. You know, so think about all that stuff when a sketchy customer gets in your vehicle. Just think about that. I'm going to sign off, guys, because I'm starting to ramble. I feel like I'm getting a little bit sleepy and I'm wandering. So, you know, good night. I felt like the city paid off, but it was honestly, I was all over the place, guys, and that was my attitude tonight, was just let the winds take me where I will. As long as I was getting requests, I did not reposition. You know, once I felt like I was heading into, you know, the sketchier part of town, that's when I said, okay, I want to get back down to Fells Point, because there was surge in boost in Fells Point, and I was missing out on it. But aside from that, you know, I didn't turn off and reposition every couple minutes. It was like, okay, turned off, completed a ride, and then within a minute or two, I was getting another ride, and just wherever I went is where I went. So you guys have a great night, and I will see you tomorrow.